If you're a geek, have a listen. We got the news, this week's submission. Talking movies, games, TV, and comics. Turning up Feel the Geeks podcast. It's the Feel the Geeks podcast. It's the Feel the Geeks podcast. It's the Feel the Geeks pod. Feel the Geeks. You're listening to the Feel the Geeks podcast.
Hello and welcome to Field of Geeks episode 228. I'm Josh.
And I'm Bill.
It's getting crazy saying 220 something. Like,
I know.
it's wild.
Well, we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, June sometime. I got to narrow it down, but yeah, I still want to. There's so much to go back and listen to. Everyone out there, of course, check it out wherever you podcast or YouTube. We have most of our episodes on there. Not all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have everything on Podbean through Podbean, but everywhere you podcast, of course. But yeah, there's just so much content. It's insane. Like, if I could afford it, I would pay someone to listen through it and give me the best of, or an AI program maybe. I don't know if it could judge humor, if there is, of course. But yeah, but it's been a trip, and we recorded the Super Unknown a week ago, and they reminded me, Juan and Dave, that I think we started 6 years ago on that.
Really?
Yeah. So it's just like, man,
that's cool.
It's crazy, but yeah, we still gotta meet and see what we want to, if we want to do anything special or whatnot. Maybe have an episode where we just celebrate, have some cake, and talk about some memories, I guess, or whatnot. But I definitely want to do more commentaries.
Oh yeah,
sure.
There's a lot of stuff we can have fun with.
Oh,
on
absolutely.
That.
But yeah, that's 10 years old, man. That's insane.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm still a young man, so
it hasn't aged us horribly or anything.
Pass on one of these days, but our agenda today, we're talking Val Kilmer, Superman, Friday the 13th, Avengers, Doomsday, Rust, Happy Gilmore 2, and more. So we're at least talking about those things. We'll go into tangents, I'm sure, even the two of us.
Yeah, exactly.
We could probably go worse than we usually do because there's so many, but I guess to kick things off, there's this cool meme Jonah from our group brought to our attention, or at least my attention. I didn't know about it, but it was this James Marsden pictured in Hawk and Sonic, and then this cool Cyclops artwork here, him Rocket,
him sitting next to Rocket. Yeah.
Oh, it totally needs to be done.
If there's anything you can count on James Marsden to do, is to sit in the driver's seat of a car next to a CGI animal.
Yes,
because they did it for Hop, they did it for Sonic. That was kind of the joke. Because if this doesn't happen, we're going to be disappointed.
It's got to happen it would be even better if he's in on a joke. Because I'm sure he knows by now. Like,
oh yeah, he has to. That's why he keeps doing this stuff.
Yeah, but that would be hilarious. Just this image alone. I'll throw it up on the screen. But him driving Rocket, like, that would be a hoot. I think it would be a hoot.
Yeah,
but they've dropped the ball before. We know that. What was it?
Luis's character, Daniel. What is it?
Michael
Pena's character.
Thank you. Yeah, they wanted him to recite.
I think it would have been hilarious to have him recap everything leading up to Endgame.
Yeah,
or even past that, be like, have him show up in Doomsday and be like, hey, so a lot of stuff's went down, and he kind of recaps the MCU up to that point. That'd be kind of funny.
I just realized if he hadn't, I don't know if he got snapped away, it would have been cool when Scott came back in Endgame. For him to do that,
if he was there and hadn't been gone for 5 years, man, I got a lot to catch you up on.
Right,
that would have been pretty cool. Kind of,
maybe he's watching over his daughter. He's like, hey man, you gotta. It's just a missed opportunity.
Hey,
sucks.
Kevin Feige doesn't want you to have fun.
He used to. Man, it used to seem like whatever he touched turned to gold. But I think it's also been a long time. Him in charge of. And,
yes,
he had a lot of success. We wouldn't have what we have. If it wasn't for him.
Well, he, even go back 5 years ago, whatever it is, the Disney
Plus, or
whatever that convention was, where they
D23.
D23, thank you.
Yep.
And they even memed about it on The Boys.
Oh, did they?
They did that, where they had this huge projection up of all these projects they wanted to do, and it reminded me so much of Kevin Feige, and I think that was kind of their subtle jab at him. But when you look at the amount of projects that have been announced versus what we got, it's very.
For sure.
Very skewed.
Right.
But
some became TV shows.
Yeah, some became TV shows. Some of them just got axed. We're still waiting on Blade, if we ever get that.
I think Ali's going to age out of it before we're man, Snipes will be perfect for it, but
I don't know. if they if they're going the rate they're going, the one kid, Kenny from Cobra Kai, which we'll talk about here in a little bit anyway. But the kid in that, I always thought like he's going to be a great action star someday. He already has the martial arts training. He could always play like a Kid Blade, or something. I don't know. By the time we get a Blade movie, he'll probably be in his 20s and he'll be able to play it, no problem.
I keep hearing things are happening, but then I hear stalls. I think if anything, Deadpool Wolverine's appearance of Wesley Snipes, I think that might kickstarted like a potential like, are we going to go with recast? Are we going to honor, pass the baton?
I think that did it, but then like, like we talked about with Captain America, Brave New World. Yeah. It was the first time they'd mentioned the Eternals or anything from that movie in like 5 years. So
outside of it,
anyway, we'll see. Kit Harington might not even want to come back and play Black Knight.
I mean, could you argue that started Marvel's downfall? Because maybe this film aimed too high and went too out of your headspace to comprehend maybe what it all meant?
I don't think so, but at the same time, like we've talked about on the Number One Comics podcast, there's so many ideas that Marvel has thrown out there.
Sure.
And just to be like, have nobody be receptive to it. And it's like, well, it's back to the drawing board.
It's like whatever, the shit sticks.
Whatever, yeah. I'm still waiting on my NFL Super Pro movie.
Be patient. It's coming.
We want Stiltman in Daredevil season 2, damn it. I'm just kidding. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, but they should definitely do that. That's
we'll see how it goes. I mean,
give us a good movie to start with, right? There's a lot of pressure. We'll get into the casting and all
there
that. We talked about it.
There is, but I mean, like, there's been a lot of pressure on a lot of IPs lately. Like Amazon is getting a lot of backlash from like Rings of Power, and Kathleen Kennedy, I think, is stepping down at some point.
Yeah, there was news she was, and then she was like, "Hold up."
Yeah,
but she got a sense like the fans were like, "Yes."
Yeah. So you never know. I mean, there might be a point where Kevin Feige passes it off to somebody else. We'll kind of see. I think if anything, he's going to ride it out through Doomsday or through the next slate of Avenger films, and then he's finally going to be like, "Okay, Jon Favreau, take it over."
It's sad that
should be great. But
2 Avenger films are basically going to, I think, with hope to rejuvenate the whole MCU. Maybe bring it back, because Endgame was such a
I think it's going to be
platter, and then it just kind of went off the rails from there.
I think it's going to be a hard reset. Like after this is over, it's going to be like, okay, we're going to go back, start with a new cast, redo Avengers and Spider-Man and all that stuff. They've still got a lot of, we just got Fantastic Four back from Sony or from Fox.
Right. Yeah.
Spider-Man's still kind of tied up with Sony.
Sure.
There's a lot of things we could do with MCU going forward that we just can't, or that we now can. And now it's like everyone's in their 60s. Right. So we'll kind of see where it goes.
Right, for sure. Speaking of, that's kind of a bad tangent or segment. Speaking of
people in their 60s.
No, it's Val Kilmer. This broke yesterday, April Fool's Day. Thought it was, actually, late last night, I think Mitch shared it, or somebody in our chat.
I want to say Mitch shared it, but then when I looked it up, I couldn't. So the New York Times broke this, I think, was the first news outlet. And of course, I couldn't go there to read their article because it's one of those stupid things where you have to subscribe to it to be able to read the article.
Sometimes you can see an article, but it's just a tease.
Yeah, it's like, you get this one for free, but from now on, no, I think that's fucking stupid.
Yes.
Just free news outlets out there. News should be free. Fuck off.
Bring back papers.
Yeah. That'll happen. But no, he'd been battling throat cancer for years. I want to say in 2010s is when he was kind of diagnosed with that. Apparently he died of pneumonia, according to his daughter.
Yeah,
I think was the one that kind of broke that. 65 years old.
Yeah,
way too young.
Yeah,
but we got a lot of good. I don't know if you want to say mileage out of Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
But a lot of my favorite films have starred Val Kilmer in it.
Yeah.
Very first movie I ever saw in theaters was Top Gun.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's how I got to know Val Kilmer. And then, of course, my favorite ones, Tombstone, Heat. You had a few other ones in there.
Sure.
What was it? Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
That's a good one.
Was in Willow, which was one of his earlier roles. I think that even predates Top Gun, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a year after Top Gun.
Is it?
I think so.
He was still pretty damn young in that movie. But,
Well, that's the wild thing is, Top Gun was, I think, the first time I knew of him, and then it was Willow, I think.
Yeah.
And then, as you get older, especially once the DVD boom happened, you got all these movies, just discovering new movies as a young adult, whatever, like Real Geniuses, that predates that. Top Secret, which is underrated. I think it's finally getting its appreciation, but it was like the Naked Gun before Naked Gun.
Yeah.
The Zucker brothers, I think, did it, and it was really cool. It's funny.
I think what helped his filmography out a lot was the Val documentary.
Yes.
Or documentary,
Right, that
whatever.
came out,
I can't speak today.
2021. That was
Yeah,
a
that
great
was.
documentary. Yeah.
I know you had spoken about that forever, and then I finally went and watched it, and I was just blown away.
Yeah, it's a real treat because you see all these behind the scenes, like every movie set he was on, since he had his video camera.
Yeah.
And you even see like actors who got nothing to do with production. I think Kevin Bacon's in one of them. It's before they were big. Like, they were just actors.
And
not really known.
That was, you go back and think about like when we went to the DVD era, we started getting like behind the scenes stuff a lot more. Whereas before that, you didn't really get that kind of stuff unless you watched like Inside Edition or something. They just happened to do a segment on it.
Right.
But
yeah.
Very much. I was very surprised, and I will admit, got pretty emotional when I saw him in Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Just because it was not really expected. I kind of thought with his health issues, they would mention him in passing. But to have him actually share the screen with Tom Cruise and
it was
get that moment between Iceman and Maverick, that was probably the last thing I saw him in.
Yeah, and it was the last thing. I mean, I think Val came out after, but obviously it's a documentary. But this, since sadly because of the cancer, his throat cancer, he lost his voice, and
right,
and so he did. Oh gosh, what was it called? The Snowman or something? He did some cheaper, lower budget films after his incident, and it was badly dubbed every time. And Top Gun Mavericks when they finally got it right. And Kilmer partnered with this Sonetic tech company. They, I guess, created his AI powered voice for that Top Gun Maverick scene.
Oh wow.
And like once I heard that, back when I saw the movie, I was like, oh, he could do more acting possibly. But obviously, it takes a lot out of him. He's very, kind of frail a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
And that doc was great because it really showed his vulnerability. He was going through some shit, and it also it documented his marriage breaking up.
Yeah.
Him wanting to be with his kids. He actually married the actress from Willow, Joanne Wally. And they have 2 kids together.
Right.
So, that's a great documentary. Great work. He also did The Doors.
Yes, he did.
Became Jim Morrison.
He did an awesome Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
My God.
Some actor came forward today and said that he should have got the Oscar for that because he was nominated. I can't remember which actor. Of course, there's been lots of tributes pouring from Hollywood. I should have read them prior, but I figured our own tributes are probably good enough.
Right.
Now, but
and from a nerd standpoint, we got Batman.
Batman Forever, yeah. I will. I am a rarity, maybe. Batman Returns was like the first time I was disappointed coming out of the theater. I just had so much hype for it. Batman Forever at that time was a breath of fresh air for me. I know it's aged kind of poorly since then. I get it. It's very different, but I was just so disappointed in Returns that when Forever came out, like I dug it. I dug him as Batman. Like everything was great. In fact, that Batmobile was pretty badass, and I almost bought it like today just to put it on the table.
Right.
Because it's like $20 at Target right now. Last I looked, it's been a month, but it came with the figure and stuff.
Right.
Like, oh, those are probably gone by now.
Well,
after this.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to admit that the Joel Schumacher Batman films, I've shit on them so hard.
Even when they came out at the time?
At the time, I liked Batman Forever, but it does not age well.
Yeah.
Especially compared to the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
And the Burtons, right?
And the Burtons, right. But Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne Batman was amazing.
Yeah.
I really liked him as that.
Really good.
And, I would have maybe liked to see him do a sequel.
Yeah.
If Batman and Robin didn't turn out to be just a 2-hour toy commercial.
Right. I think he was going to reprise his role, but
I think he was too, and it just kind of broke down.
Yeah, I think he didn't get along with Joel Schumacher too well. Yeah, there's been a lot of he's been kind of hard to work with. They say
he did have a reputation for that, but he was also very protective of his craft and kind of a perfectionionperfectionist in that regard.
And
but
most of his movies show that. Like he chooses pretty wisely.
He does,
Unfortunately, in the 2000s and the 10s, I don't think he had a lot of offerings, so the choices were great. But Red Planet was like his last huge movie, I think.
Yeah.
And that was all right. I don't know too much about it.
There was one I saw. I should have looked this up before we started. There was one I saw. It wasn't a very big movie, but there was one where he was in prison. He was like this old
yes, I've seen
prison
on
inmate,
TikTok or something.
And it was he was with, I want to say, Stephen Dorff.
Yeah,
was his co-star in it?
Yeah.
And the only reason I watched that was because of Blade, because I like Deacon Frost.
Yeah.
But I want to say that was probably up until Top Gun Maverick. That was the most recent movie I'd seen him in. Even in that, you could tell he was kind of which probably was
That was
part of the
before
character. He was
tracheotomy, probably, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But even then, he was kind of out of shape, just kind of going through the
Yeah, there was those
motions. He didn't have a
times.
lot of speaking roles in it, and when he did, he was very soft spoken.
Yeah.
But man, what a tremendous loss, and it's just kind of
Yeah, it's
heartbreaking.
It is, but yeah, after watching that documentary, it was a real treat, and yeah, I suspected he probably couldn't do too much. I mean, he battled like after having all the surgeries for like 11 years or so, and that's got to take a toll on you.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, it's a beautiful documentary. It's still on Amazon Prime, I believe. So
Yeah.
I got this for Val, so I already think half of it. Sorry, Val, but I don't know if you guys. I'm sure where you live, that you see these in stores. So like $10-11, given the area you're in. But
Right.
I decided to break down and buy one the other day, so I got the most girly one of them all. But I just like the color. I was telling Bill though, I don't like the aftertaste too much. But
Yeah.
for you, Val, will do it, I guess.
Right.
Pop that off. That little effect.
Yeah, but man, there's not many. We talk about a lot of celebrity deaths on this podcast, and
Because it's fun.
yeah, we really enjoy it. We enjoy your suffering, Hollywood.
It's entertaining.
There's not many that have made me
Yeah, it's another
emotional.
icon from our generation.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
when Stan Lee passed, I was like, man, that's a big part of my childhood. And this is another big part of it because, my
Yeah.
God, he's just,
I know.
had such a huge impact on all of us, I think.
I know. I think we're just thankful that he got one more part in a big movie. I think Top Gun Maverick didn't end up making like $1 billion. So
Yeah.
not that he was searching to do that, but
Well,
quite a career, and I think almost everything he's in has been great. And
yeah, I don't think I've ever walked away from a Val Kilmer performance saying, man, I wish he took a little more seriousness with his
Right.
role. Like,
yeah,
he was just one of those guys that just loved his craft and loved what he did. And
sure. And there is hopes. I don't know if you've heard about the Schumacher cut of Batman Forever, but it's supposed to be a little darker. Maybe it'll win you.
I've heard of that, but then again, I first heard about that a while ago.
Yeah, I don't know if that predates the Nolan, or not the Nolan,
The Snyder cut?
or after the Snyder cut. Everything's.
I don't know. I think after the success of Snyder, it was kind of like more people came out of the woodwork and were like, "Hey, it worked for Zack Snyder and it worked for the Highlander."
Sure.
When they did that cut of it,
I mean,
or whatever.
it wouldn't be the first time. They've definitely done like home video. Blade Runner's got like what 4 or 5 copies of it.
I think I have a theory on something with movies, and I think the reason why they don't do a lot of that, like director's cut stuff anymore, is because they have to make it palatable for streaming.
Oh, yeah.
And if you did, granted, I've seen some director's cuts on streaming, like Apocalypse Now Redux.
Yeah.
They had that on Netflix a while ago.
Sure.
But I'd love for them to just be like, we don't care about it being family friendly. Let's, take it up a few notches and
Right. Yeah.
whatever. But that's again, we're talking about a movie that came out
Yeah. I mean,
20 years ago, 30 years
Physical
ago.
media is basically like a niche market now, unfortunately. There's I don't know if you heard about this, but Demolition Man, they released that recently.
Yeah.
And there's like a cut from overseas. They couldn't use Taco Bell, so Pizza Hut is what survived. I'm like, I want that cut. Give me
Yeah.
that damn cut. That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably really terrible how they did it. I don't know, but
I still need to know how to use the 3 seashells.
right.
I never got that. Never got that cut of the film.
Right.
Now that we've
Yeah, now
now that we've
you said-
depressed all of you.
Yes, we're going from Batman to Superman in quick news.
Yes.
I need to get Jonah's his voice he did last time. Quick news, get your quick news, yeah. Just put that over everything.
Yeah.
Superman. Guess who's playing Jor-El?
I was surprised at this.
Yeah.
I thought that was like an April
I don't hate it, but yeah.
April Fool's joke.
Yeah,
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah. Gunn likes to work with the same people, and I heard there was rumors about Tom Cruise and some other people, but yeah, that's not a bad cast.
No.
I don't know if he looks like the dude's dad, but I'm sure with makeup and stuff,
Well, and I think
he's adopted.
that from what I understand, it's going to be like a beginning of the movie, like quick kind of
Yeah.
scene kind of thing. Because the article that you sent me on it, I think they were kind of bitching that they like spoiled it. And like, it's in the first, 15 minutes of the movie. You're not going to miss anything if you know that he's in it.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm going to reserve my judgment on anything until I see the actual movie or see more of a trailer than what we've already gotten for Superman. But
Yeah.
it's kind of my same feeling with like the Spider-Man movies. Like we don't necessarily need to see all the origin again, ad nauseum. You don't need to see Martha and Thomas Wayne getting shot. You don't need to see Uncle Ben dying. You don't need to see Jor-El and the Fortress of Solitude necessarily, but
I think that's an interesting question, though, is like, okay, I remember when I saw the Snyder Superman, Man of Steel.
right.
Right when the ship's coming to Earth. Everything up before that was pretty much identical. And, I mean, obviously looked different.
Right.
The Reeves. Then when they just cut away, and next thing you know, it's just like he's an adult walking around or whatever the hell.
He's in the diner
Yeah,
or whatever.
so like my question is, if you have movies that do that or show the origin, and let's say one reboot takes the movie off, if you will, of using that type of order, do you think the new reboot needs to do the order again since it wasn't really done last time?
I don't.
Yeah.
Because I think so many people, like the ones I mentioned before, with Batman and Spider-Man, so many people already know the origin of
They're
Superman.
done to death. I get it. Yeah,
I did, though I will say, with Man of Steel, I did like how they did it, because they kind of like intercut back and forth.
Yeah.
That I'm okay with, like...
It was different. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little... Because I hadn't really seen that before, but...
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's kind of, well, not...
I don't need to see the destruction of Krypton and the betrayal of, Jor-El and...
Sure.
Him getting put in the pod and sent to Earth and growing up in Kansas and,
Right.
Yada, yada, yada. We've seen all that before.
To tackle that, and yeah. And, I remember even the first Batman movie being confused because I thought that family in the beginning was Bruce and his parents.
Oh, you're talking about the Batman. Yeah, I know.
Batman. The Keaton.
The Keaton Batman.
The
okay.
opening
Yeah.
Okay.
I
thought that was Bruce's parent. I'm like, how's Batman exist yet? What's going on here? So that in itself didn't really go by the Superman the movie formula.
Well, I think, everybody takes their own kind of creative liberty with it, and that's fine.
Sure.
I just don't want to see the same thing every time we get a Superman movie.
Yeah, how they can kind of do something different, but give you the gist of it, maybe. Because I think the other thing is, every director takes on these big properties that have been done before. Gunn maybe wants to do his own version of Krypton, so that's very tempting, I could see.
That's one thing I am very excited for, to see James Gunn's take on it.
Yeah, I could really see it being a lot more like Donner's, a little bit, like the crystals and all that.
I could see him very...
Snyder's too, but it was very different.
It was very
maybe you just married
dark
him too.
compared to...
Yeah.
I know that's the big joke, is that Snyder did everything like with a darkness filter on it, but...
I just hope he explains, like, if they go into it, all the scientists, he's supposed to be like the brightest people on the planet. They can't clearly see the sun's like expanding and getting closer to them. They keep denying, like, we're fine.
They can save one infant child, but not their entire race.
Which we get Supergirl too, but that's two people, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I just hope they explain away that. This isn't really news, more of a just kind of an awareness. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, turned 35 years old.
Yes.
Cool.
So something very cool related to that, on PlayStation Plus for March, they released the Cowabunga collection.
Cool.
Have you heard of what this is?
I think so. Just like, it's like all their games, kind of.
Right. So it's like the original arcade game is part of it, but like a lot of the early console games, like from Nintendo, that Nintendo game, the very first one that came out, that was like ridiculously difficult.
Yeah.
That one's in it. I had to go back and replay it just to see if it was still a pain in the ass to play, and it totally is.
I think I remember the second one being a lot easier.
Yes. Well, yeah, because the second one was a NES port of the arcade game. Like, of course, dumbed down to 8-bit graphics or whatever. But yeah, that was kind of cool. I had to go back and play some of them because I'm like, oh man, this takes me back.
I know.
But yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I really want them to do, like, I'm still holding out for like an original Eastman Laird adaptation, like the dark, not the campy comic book,
right? Yeah,
80s cartoon.
That's what
Ninja Turtles
did well, though. It was like
the first one, the first one did really good.
The first one was like, it was going off the coattails of the '87 cartoon hit, and then it kind of did it
right,
and then it was also tonally was a little dark, like the comics.
It was.
I felt like it really merged well.
It was a good mix of it, and then the direction they went for 2 and 3, I was kind of like, because
I didn't catch it at the time.
Of course, the popularity of the cartoon.
Yes,
a lot of people took their kids to see it, and then like they're cussing and like stabbing each other, and it's like, oh man, this is dark.
Yeah.
And then for 2 and 3, they went campy and goofy and all that. But
I liked 2 a lot more back then, but now it's like I like the first one the best.
I will say, of a lot of the movies I loved when I was a kid, that one has stood up very well.
Yeah, it's still pretty solid.
And yeah, I think even I'd love to see it like come back as a 4K remaster, or have it like get a theatrical re-release or something.
Oh yeah,
that'd be neat.
It will happen. Yeah, Jim Henson's Creature Shop,
which still to this day does fantastic work.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you saw this or not. I was going to tag you in it because I thought it was hilarious and would make like an awesome horror movie.
Yeah.
But the the puppetry models for the turtles from the second and third movies
Them decaying.
have like gone to auction, and they're all like
So creepy.
decayed and look like they've got like teeth hanging out and stuff.
yeah.
And I'm like, this looks like something straight out of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
hilarious.
Yeah.
But
it's sad though. It's like, but they didn't. I don't think they built them to last.
they didn't.
So.
They used a lot of like. I mean, of course, I don't know what they use now for like Five Nights at Freddy's, for example.
Yeah.
But I know back then a lot of it was like chicken wire, foam, and like plastic.
It's amazing
basically.
what they can do. And I know there's like one shot you can see a dude like he's with April. I think Donatello
He like
laughs.
goes like this, and you can see the character's mouth, or the actor's mouth.
I don't think I've ever seen it in motion. I've seen that still, but I'm sure it's there.
Well,
but it had to be done so well. I didn't even see it.
Then again, when it was out in VHS and you went to pause anything, you'd get those bars across the screen, so you probably wouldn't see it.
Yeah, DVD or whatever, which I do have those copies. Great film. I remember when they announced they're making it. And it was like it went from that to like waiting for it, and all of a sudden it was here. We saw it at Westwood 6. Remember Westwood 6?
Yeah,
that's where we saw it, and I liked it. Yeah, it was kind of scary for my age, but.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely not the cartoon, and they didn't have a budget to do what the cartoon could do.
Right.
But Star Wars, they've done it recently. It's probably like the best things they've done since the new trilogy and all that takeover of Disney is they've gone back to puppetry a little bit. And I don't know if Henson's crew's on that or not. I should know that, but
I think they were. I know they were involved for Yoda.
Okay.
In like Empire, and it might have been involved in Phantom Menace.
Sure.
Before he became CGI and like was flipping around and doing all that crazy shit.
But I've said this before, like if they could take like use CG assists, but with the creature shop designs and the mechanics, and I'm sure it's even gotten better now, and for the actors especially. But man, if they could just recapture that magic, but give it a little oomph, kind of like RoboCop. If they give him like a little oomph, like he could run a little faster or something like that, but not like CG crazy fake, looking. I don't know. I still have to do something. I think to bring that back because there's something magical about that. Still, it's still.
I think so, and I would watch the original '90s Ninja Turtles 100 times over before I'd ever watch the Michael Bay ones again.
Yeah, their size was just so distracting, and their design, it was just like
they're
fucking huge.
Everything of their facial movements and everything like that was just kind of like nightmare fuel.
Yeah,
almost. But
I mean, I think the good things that came out of it was each's personality was more present. Like everything has been kind of it's been a step, right? Whether it's a wobbly step or a step in the right direction, you need each of those phases to get you to where you're at now. I think that goes with everything.
Yeah.
Just like the last the animated movie that came out with, I liked it. There's some things about it I didn't like, but I think they're kind of getting in the right path, and I think they are working on a live action one. But until they do this, like be able to take the past, and just kind of bring it to the present, like I'm just still gonna along for that, So I think someday we're gonna get that again.
I think we are too.
I hope so, but I mean, if it has to be fan made, I guess we'll just do it that way. But
and the thing is too, like it's so much more taxing on the actors and on the crew to do the puppetry.
Yeah,
but it's so much cheaper than doing CGI, and I think it looks 10 times better.
Yep, absolutely.
Like because there's actually like some mastery to that versus just copy paste click edit render
right. And if you can see a dude's face, you can take that out with CG. Like you can use the artist for that.
I mean you can use a nice little mix of it, but
where everything bends and stuff, you can have elbows and legs exposed and just animate it over if you have to. But
I mean that's the thing that I've loved with like what Blumhouse does, or some of those production companies that don't really care about inflating the budget. Is they're not, number one, they're not doing everything on a green screen, and number two, they're making it look like a $1 million budget movie on a shoestring budget.
They're more creative.
They get a lot more creative with it, and I've always appreciated practical effects way more than I have CGI.
Yeah, because CG is used as a crutch. It's like, oh, don't worry, we'll take care of it in CG. Like so many sceneries you see in movies take you out because it's like it doesn't look right.
Well, and I even have to bring this up with you being a Star Trek fan, right? Yeah. Lately, I've been kind of getting into this rabbit hole of clips from Next Generation, and on those sets they used a model and they would just swivel the camera around it to make it look like it was flying through space and stuff, and then you go and you see like First Contact and that stuff where they're using like a CGI ship, and for whatever reason I think the old model and camera tricks look way better than CGI.
Oh, I do too, definitely.
So
some of that old effects are a lot more believable than this current and
I think CGI can enhance it to a degree.
Yeah.
But if you make it to where it's just like it's a blur of effects on the screen and you're like, the fuck am I looking at?
Right. Yeah.
Then you kind of lose the magic of it.
Exactly.
That's kind of I don't know.
No, I get it.
To me, it's like pulling, action figures out of your toy box and playing with them and stuff. Like, they're not moving on their own and doing everything for you.
Right.
The fun in that is manipulating it yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
it's like take CG and take your hands away from the figure, and it's doing everything.
Yeah, like
something like that.
I originally thought this was a really cool idea until I brought it up to Jonah, and he reminded me how much I loved, physically taking the Transformers and moving them around as like a puzzle, trying to figure out how they transformed from car to robot.
Right, yeah.
And when they came out with that Optimus Prime that like transformed on its own, I was like, that's really cool. And then he was like, but half the fun is making them transform yourself. I'm like,
right.
God, you're right.
You still need that toy.
Yeah.
You can have the other thing too. That's cool because it actually does what you've seen in the cartoon. But yeah, it's like your connection's lost kind of because all you're doing is telling it to transform, and it's just like, oh, that's cool.
Like, okay, look at the time. I'm going to go play some Fortnite now.
Right. Speaking of CG animation wise, anyway, Coyote versus Acme is finally getting released.
I'm very excited for this.
I am too, because this was dumb when this was first reported. Yeah, Warner Brothers, it was like a tax write-off or some bullshit. It's when they did that and Batgirl. They axed both of them.
Yeah.
And, it could be the stars just kind of tooting their own horn, but I think Will Forte was like, I thought that movie was really good, and I'm mad it's not going to get seen now. But yeah apparently Ketchup Entertainment, I love that name.
Yeah.
They are to land distribution rights, and they're paying $50 million for it. They actually just helped release The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie that's out right now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, but I was like, I don't know. I don't think they advertised it because I didn't even really know it was out. I was just like, what the hell is this? Like,
well, and the concept for this movie is basically Wile E. Coyote suing the Acme Corporation.
Right. Which is great.
It's a hilarious concept. It reminds me a lot of like the Chip and Dale movie they did.
Yeah.
Which it was not like just a straight, kids fest popcorn movie. It was like it actually had something to kind of say and had some meat behind it.
Sure.
So
definitely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited. This filmed back in 2023. That's how old it is.
Well,
but I mean, I don't think that means.
I don't think that's going to deter it anyway.
We all know
that's
Warner
2 years
Brothers
ago.
did to it,
Yeah.
It's not your normal shelved movie.
Do you think they will distribute this theatrically, or do you think they're just going to put it on a streaming service somewhere and say, "Oh, good enough"? I
could see them with John Cena's in it, and maybe it's out there. I did not find it, but if they release this latest one in theaters that had like no big star power besides the animated characters, I could see them putting it in the theater.
I would think.
I think it could get some pretty good money. I don't know how much the budget was, but yeah. Otherwise, it would kind of be a bummer just for it to go to streaming. So I hope for theatrical. I think it's got a possibility.
Is if Warner Brothers isn't involved in it anymore, I don't know.
Well, I think it's done, so all this company would have to do is just release it. I could be wrong, but I think it was all done. So
that's kind of like what they did with House of a Thousand Corpses. Rob Zombie had it in the can for years before they found a distributor for it.
Wow. That's crazy. So, yeah, that could happen. I mean, this is not your typical shelved movie by no means, but what was it that's very popular? You dressed up as it this last Halloween.
Oh, Trick or Treat?
Trick or Treat. That was shelved for a couple years before it came out. And I remember seeing the preview, like, this looks amazing. And I still like that film. I was blown away by it. And I think it's actually getting a sequel now. Yeah. Eventually, it's supposed to be. But I'm excited for this. I think this could be, and it's gotten enough attention. I think a lot of people will turn out for it if it's in the theater.
Oh, yeah.
Or streaming, whatever. But
I think so.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, well, could Batgirl be saved if this is happening? I don't know.
I think the ship has sailed on that, sadly.
I don't know. Yeah. I want to see it. I still do. They did release some like rough footage last month.
So they never got to the point of like polishing and like post-production.
No, which is I think why a lot of them were like, why does Warner Brothers want to pull the plug now? I mean, it's not done yet. It's not fair. It's not it's not judged fairly.
Right.
It's like you have to use your imagination for a lot of it. It's not done yet.
Right.
And it had Brendan Fraser and it had Keaton in it. And it, taking that movie out of the release cycle they had, it really threw a wrench in plans because I think it was supposed to come out after the Flash movie. And now, since the Flash, it's like, well, we can't do that now because we're not going to have it out. And
I think they'd be a little more reluctant to release it now that Gunn is doing what he's doing with the DC universe.
Yeah, I mean, he's got an Elseworld universe too.
Yeah, that's what the like the Penguin and all that's going to fall under, like the Elseworlds.
If we ever get a Batman 2.
Yeah, which I hope we do.
I do. I'm sure we will. But I mean, gosh, the success with the Penguin, you would think more people want to see that Reeves verse, I think, and it's been very well developed. And
I more want to see it to see what they would do next.
yes,
I mean, obviously, at some point they're going to have the Joker in it, but I liked how grounded it was and how much it felt like Seven,
the Batman,
almost like it was a murder mystery kind of thing. And
the Riddler
wasn't
really
just
cool.
some ridiculous guy wearing a suit. He was, I mean, he had a suit in it, but
I was pissed off though when they even referenced the Joker or whatever. I'm like, we don't need this, guys. Why do we need the Joker?
Well,
because
it's
a crutch kind of.
Well,
I mean, it's just like,
okay. So you can't have Superman without Lex Luthor. You can't have Batman without
I get it. Yeah,
the Joker. Joker is the Emperor Palpatine. Like, you have to at least build up to him in a Batman series. But
well, at least you just heard him versus the deleted scene. You actually see him mostly because Batman interrogates him.
Yeah, and I'm glad they cut that for a deleted scene. I'm glad they cut that out.
And that's like the most grotesque Joker I've seen too. Like it's a mess. But I'm sure we'll get more of that reverse. But yeah, Elseworlds. Oh man, all these projects could be really fun to do. You know, you could even do people talked about doing an animated Nicolas Cage Superman movie. You know, the What If they made that movie. Great documentary by the late great John Schnepp. It really makes you want to see the movie in a strange way. It had some cool designs, and they actually kind of refurbished some of that for, like the casting of Kevin Spacey, for instance. That was Burton's, I think, choice for Lex when he was doing Superman. So they carried that over to Returns. But yeah, I don't know. There's a great potential there to really, I'll just have fun with it, like what ifs, and I mean, God, Marvel does it. So yeah. And if they already been made mostly, it won't cost much more to fix it. And
I will say the one thing, with the exception of like X-Men '97. The one thing DC has always had over Marvel is their animation studio. Yeah. They have always delivered when it came to their animated films.
Sure, yeah. So they've tried several things too.
Things. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, I don't think Marvel, I mean, the What If animation's not bad, right?
It's not bad. I just hate that every character has that rosy-cheeked Disney prince quality to them. Like, I can't get over the fact of like Doctor Strange supposed to be all menacing and everything like that, but he's got like a bright red nose and like a sunny disposition, like he's just been jogging in the valley or whatever. Yeah, like, come on. I don't know.
I feel like some of their animation's cheap too, like it's just computer generated, sort of.
It does have that very
cookie cutter
manufactured feel to it.
Yep.
I am excited though that and I think this is more Sony than Marvel, but we are finally going to get Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yes. Now, are we going to get the same voice back for Miles? Because isn't that dude kind of a creep now? Something went down, right? He was infatuated with Haley Steinfeld.
The Gwen Stacy's voice
kind
actor.
Of a nudge, joke, but then it got serious or something. Like, I thought you were going to wait for me or something crazy. I don't know if he's trying to be funny, but it didn't work.
I don't know. I'm just... much as I love what Hollywood gives, what they do give us when they give us stuff that's good, I'm getting so sick of stories coming out of like this person being a creep.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. It's
like, can we just get back to the day where people were caught doing drugs? Like, right. I'm sorry, but not the drugs. Drugs are bad, kids. Don't do drugs.
Feel bad for you versus you being like a pedophile or a creep or whatever. You can't really recover from that.
Yeah. That's just
going back.
I don't know.
I don't think there's enough rehab for a lot of the behavior. Yeah. Ugh. Speaking of rehab, Friday 13th.
I'm actually pretty excited for this, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, prequel series, by the way.
It's a prequel series on Peacock called Crystal Lake. I was always, when they first kind of started talking about this, I'm like, who are they going to get to play Pamela? And Linda Cardellini is now attached to it.
That's cool. Yeah.
And one of my favorite actresses.
Yeah.
Does a lot of great work. Of course, she's... the Netflix series Dead to Me, she was amazing in that.
That's really good.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to see Christina Applegate.
Sure.
Of course, another unfortunate thing. Like now she's got some health issues and MS and stuff like that, where she can no longer act the way she, act like she used to.
Yep.
But this is a very decent acting job by her. James Marsden. Sorry. Cyclops. Not Spike, Cyclops is in that one as well. But
Dead to Me, yeah, yep.
But so this is going to talk about Jason's mom, of course, the original killer from the first film.
Spoilers, 1980.
Yeah, sorry if you haven't seen the first film.
What?
What's really cool is that Brad Caleb Kane, the guy's the creator, writer, showrunner, he's also working on the Welcome to Derry series.
Yeah.
which I'm looking forward to because I'm a huge It fan.
Which it's like I know they're using what's his face for It still.
Bill Skarsgård.
Right now.
Yeah.
Do we know if it's like a continuation of those films, or is it kind of a reimagined
I don't
type of deal?
think it's going to be a sequel. There's a lot of Pennywise lore from like before the movie.
Kind of like a Judi Dench thing with Bond. Like they're kind of changing. Like she's going from Brosnan to Craig as just
So like
talents basically.
The lore for not to get off on on a side note here, but like the lore for Pennywise is that he comes back every 27 years.
Yes,
and he's been doing this since like the early 1800s, if not earlier than that.
Yeah,
and there's a lot you can do with that there.
Oh yeah, there is for sure. No, that's cool. Yeah, the Friday 13th project. I'm excited about it. I was more excited when Brian Fuller was going to do it. He's behind like Hannibal. That was supposed to be it's a good show supposedly. It
is good. What I've seen of it is good. I caught a couple episodes of it. But.
He also is a Star Trek writer, a veteran Star Trek writer. I think he did some stuff for Voyager, and he was going to do Star Trek Discovery, and then he kind of got robbed out of that position. And the same thing happened with this. So I don't know if it's just him or what, but I have high hopes. It's on Peacock. I think they do pretty good stuff.
But A24 is executive producing, and Victor Miller, who penned the original Friday the 13th film, is working on this.
Nice.
A24 does pretty good work.
I love their stuff.
I'd say.
Yeah.
And if Linda Cardellini's in it, I mean,
sure. I mean, you talk about creativity. I think they keep the budgets down themselves and
they're like an artistic Blumhouse.
Yes.
To me.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the big studios aren't getting it done. Someone's got to get it done. So, and they're doing it, and for less of the money. So.
I'm interested to see. Now, this isn't something you're going to go into and see Jason Voorhees full, machete, hockey mask, any of that.
Don't see any of that.
I don't want to see any of that unless maybe it's like a flash forward, kind of thing at the beginning to be like, hey, remember Jason? Now we're going to go talk about his mom.
Right.
Maybe
it could be like a beginning where they get him, and then at the end of the
you'll
wakes up.
More than likely see him as a kid.
Yeah.
Because her whole motivation is he drowned in the lake, which is why she went nuts.
Right.
Basically.
The counselors were having sex.
Yeah.
We're paying attention.
They were making love while my poor boy drowned.
I think they could.
Linda Cardellini. She's definitely got the range to go like from, Stepford Wife to Psycho Mom.
Yeah,
on the drop of a hat. So that'll be fun to see.
It will be. Do you remember the show The Critic? John Lovitz. Yes,
I do.
Were you a fan of it? Did you like Siskel and Ebert? Let's put it that way. I think that's how I liked it. Because I like Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah, I did, and I kind of saw that, but then like the times where he wasn't doing that, and he was like dealing with his kid.
Sure,
I was kind of like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, I get it.
It's kind of like, for me, like, I'll use Beavis and Butthead as an example.
Yeah,
though I found the show funny, and I liked the show, I had a lot more fun when they were critiquing the music videos.
Fair, yeah. Sure.
So
yeah, and
then the Critic kind of became like the butt of a lot of jokes at Fox. Like I know the Simpsons kind of lampooned him at one point, like he was stuck in a psych ward. I don't see. Maybe I'm way off. I don't see the demand for this like there was for Family Guy coming back, for Futurama coming back.
Right. Yeah.
Is John Lovitz still?
Well, here's the thing. It's not really officially in works yet. The creator Al Jean, she just put out in social media if anyone would want it to come back, and then I think you got to have John Lovitz's voice, Jay Sherman.
Right.
Those who don't know, this is an animated show. He basically was like Siskel and Ebert rolled into one, sort of. In fact, Siskel and Ebert were actually on the show for an episode or two. It was really funny. They like broke up, and it was cool. Jay Sherman hosts Coming Attractions, which I think, funny enough, one point before Siskel and Ebert had their show, they actually hosted a show called Coming Attractions, I think, too. Yeah. Something similar to it anyway. But anyway, Jay Sherman's catchprise was, "It stinks." And they would basically do parodies like Jaws 4, or that was already made, Jaws 10 or whatever. And yeah, that you're right. That was more of what I liked. But, it's like, it would be more of like a good short, like 5-minute show, just him doing that maybe.
Yeah.
Fun of stuff. But I get it. And that's probably why it wasn't as... memorable as the other things.
To me, to me, it's like if you took like Mystery Science Theater 3000, and just when it's getting to that point where you're like laughing your ass off and you want more, they take a break and go down to the grocery store.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I
was never.
No, I totally get it. Yeah, I mean, like I didn't mind. Like he had like rich parents. And I forgot. I think he was adopted. Like there was some quirks there in his character, but yeah, I think mostly it was you had fun when he was critiquing movies and
Yeah.
But I think they also did like the Family Guy thing, where I think he did say he would bring up like situations and it would show that situation. Like
they did
like
the cutaway gags.
Yeah. I showed up here and this is what happened. But yeah, I don't know if it'll come back, but I would love it too. I guess ABC first aired it in '94, and then Fox picked it up for season 2, and then it was canceled, and then it came back. For 10 webisodes later on. So basically that was its 3rd season, and 2001's last time it was on at all. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't mind it coming back. Maybe just like a short-lived, maybe not plan like a whole season or two, just kind of like do a nice mini series sort of thing, or I don't know. I think he could be used in the right way. Just got to figure out the project. But
Right.
Young Guns 3. No?
I've been wrong before.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't.
Were you young about Young Guns 2? Or?
I like the Young Guns movies.
Yeah, I love Young Guns, and
I'm
I
just
there
like
was a 2 for a while after it came out. And I like 2.
I'm just like, it's kind of like making a sequel to Lonesome Dove.
Oh yeah.
At this point,
Which
it's
they
like
did, I think, didn't
yeah, well, yeah, I know it's
Prequel or
horrible.
something? Yeah.
But it's kind of like, was there a demand for this, or are they just banking on that Hollywood
I think
nostalgia
there
factor?
was. Yeah, I think there was a demand for it because you got like Top Gun Maverick and other properties coming back, and
And there's a Days of Thunder 2 in the works now too.
right. Although that Brad Pitt movie coming out, I forgot what it's called, but man, that looks like it's going to steal its thunder.
But
I didn't mean to do that.
Where's our thing? I don't see it.
Oh yeah, fuck,
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great that Emilio Estevez will be getting work again.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's been involved in a whole hell of a lot.
Well,
lately.
he's done small projects, and he did a movie.
It's probably another one of those actors that, like, he's been in a million like little things that I've just never seen.
Yeah, I don't think. I think he said something about he tours the Midwest a lot, and a lot of people ask about this character, and it's still kind of a passion project. I believe he directed the second one, and the second one, each of them have been kind of vaguely historical, you could say. Like they're basically based on accounts versus actual.
Right.
Because Billy the Kid himself is like kind of a. Didn't they finally identify him? They thought maybe a couple years ago or something, or
I don't know,
crazy like that. But anyway,
Sure.
like yeah. This one, I think it could probably be another account, kind of like what 2 was. I mean, it would explain how
it's historical fiction.
Yes,
basically.
Yeah. Lou Diamond Phillips is supposedly in it, and I think he died in the second one. So it's like, all right, how do we bring him back? Or I could be wrong, but
Do they have walkers in the Wild West?
well, I mean,
I know they didn't have tennis.
Ed was kind of into that shit, so maybe
I don't know. I know they didn't have tennis balls to put on the end of them, so maybe they just use horse crap. I don't know. I don't know. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's
Maybe-
a reason and a plot behind it. I'm just
maybe Billy takes some of that hashish they had in the first one and imagines all his friends back, and that's how this story goes. I don't know, but they're going to film in New Mexico this fall, supposedly.
Huh.
I'm excited. First Young Guns came out in '88, and the second one came out in '90. Yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be a very low budget. I think the other ones were that way too.
They were fun though. I mean,
They were fun, and I think this one could be fun. I think you just have to, like, I think each movie you kind of have to ignore the last one a little bit. Like, if you want to bring some characters back, that's what it seemed like they're doing. So
there's kind of been a lack of, in my mind anyway, there's been kind of a lack of like Western based movies.
yeah, there's been some that have come up here and there, and this one was the Young Guns ones were always weren't they kind of like rock and roll westerns sort of to you?
Yeah.
Soundtrack especially. Yeah, it wasn't your typical western, but it was set in that time.
It was very much the like MTV era of the Wild
like
West
Shanghai
kind of thing.
Noon, but it was more serious.
Yeah.
Right. And then this last project for quick news, Cliff Booth is getting a spin-off. He was the character from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, played by Brad Pitt. I thought this was an April Fool's totally because it was reported yesterday. I ignored like all that shit, and it still is coming up. And I'm like, all right, let me go see what the date is on this article. And they assured it was no joke, but yeah, Tarantino's going to write it, and David Fincher of all people is going to direct it for Netflix. I'm excited. I think that'd be really cool, and it's a way for Tarantino to kind of stretch his filmography without being the director, because he wants to write 10, I think it was. And that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe this is how we can get more of him in like he's produced before, but like writing things. That's a way into his world without his direction, I guess. But David Fincher, man. So I think it'd be really cool. I don't know if it would pick up like after, like how many years after Once Upon a Time. But yeah, it's supposedly going to shoot this summer. So I'm excited. That whole world, I've gone through things recently in my house, especially down here with my movies, and I found Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to watch this again. I only saw it, I think, one time.
Right.
And Yeah, I love that whole world. Now, I don't know how much. I think it said maybe the budget's going to be $200 million. That's quite a bit, but I guess Netflix kind of does that with their movies. Some of them.
Yeah.
You're going to make it like, in the past again, you're going to spend quite a few bucks to do that. So
Yeah.
it'll be really interesting. I
always like what Tarantino does to like kind of make history like a what if kind of scenario.
Yeah, I think he started
Like
with
in-
Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, because they, breaking into the theater, shooting Hitler in the face. Obviously, that's not.
Seeing that, like, whoa!
Obviously, that's not how World War II ended.
Or did it?
Or did it? Never know.
That was brutal, by the way.
Yeah.
He like blew his face away. He was like,
But like they did, they didn't do a whole hell of a lot with that in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood up until they get to like Spawn Ranch.
Yeah.
And start dealing with like the Manson family and all that.
Yep. Yeah, because like the whole time you're like, oh shit, Sharon Tate's gonna get murdered, and then it's like, oh no, they went to this house.
It's like, no, he kicked their asses and killed them
Brutally.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
I
He,
mean,
threw that dog food can at her face.
Yeah.
Which she's an Oscar winner now. I forgot her name, but
She must not be a very good one. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I just didn't remember her name. But it's funny how you got also what's his face who played Elvis. Forgot his name, but he was one of the bad guys that tried to take out Brad Pitt. Oh gosh, what is his damn name? He was in that biker movie recently. I'll put his name up here. Can't remember his damn name.
Magic of editing.
Yes.
His name is.
Insert. Yes. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy. I couldn't. Yesterday I was like, nope, not falling for it. Nope.
Well, and
nope.
I'll get into some things when we get to recommendations, but Netflix has really surprised me with a few things lately.
Yeah.
And I took a long hiatus from Netflix. We'll get into that. I'm catching up on some stuff here.
Absolutely. Moving into movies here. Avengers Doomsday had a big, what was the last week? They did the huge cast review.
Yes.
All the chairs.
We have got a ton of people in this movie. Some that haven't had their movies released yet. So the Thunderbolts are going to be in, all the Thunderbolts, including the Sentry, are going to be in this movie.
Is Taskmaster going to be in it? You've heard that, right? They're kind of like taking
I don't see
it out in spots, like it's going to die. But it's like, how can you kill that character? It's supposed to adapt to everything.
I would, you know what? I'm all for them killing that character off because it's not my Taskmaster. Okay.
There you go.
It's somebody cosplaying as Taskmaster, and I could see them killing off. I mean, even Jonah, I think, made the comment about that on the last one. They're like, I think Taskmaster's going to die in this one.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to see somebody take up the mantle of Taskmaster and actually be Taskmaster from the comics.
Sure.
That would be sweet.
Well, the body type in the Black Widow, it was a
because it was a
dude.
Because it was a dude in the stunts, doing all the stunts
totally
and stuff.
Messed up the whole thing, but yeah. But go on, sorry.
But yeah, we've got the list. It's kind of broken down into lists by team. Of course, the Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. We've got the new Avengers, so it looks like Sam Wilson's going to get the team back together, sort of. Right now, it's looking like Thor, Sam Wilson's Captain America, Shuri's Black Panther, Ant-Man, and Shang-Chi. Which I'm glad Shang-Chi's finally doing something.
Sure,
because I like that movie, but I like the like kung fu movies and stuff like that. So
and Shuri's back, like they're totally in on that. I get it. I think it's just how I think you just got to write it right, and I think that's what Black Panther 2 was just missing. Like I don't know,
yeah,
but still they should have just freaking recasted, man.
But
just silly. But anyway,
also Namor is going to be in it.
Namor, yes.
Which I thought he did a decent job as Namor.
That world was like very well done. I thought. Like how their skin changed colors in the depths, and then when it came to the surface, they were blue. Like all that mythology behind it, it was really well done. Like, yeah.
I think the biggest surprise for me, and I hope it doesn't turn into more multiverse bullshit, but the biggest surprise for me was that the Fox X-Men are coming back in this. We've got Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, James Marsden, Alan Cumming, the original Nightcrawler before the First Class trilogy or quadrilogy, whatever you want to call that.
Yep.
Rebecca Romijn back as Mystique, Kelsey Grammer.
That's cool.
Coming back as Beast, which isn't too much of a surprise because of the end of the Marvels. Channing Tatum's Gambit is cast in this.
Thanks to Deadpool
Wolverine. Which
never would have seen it.
About time.
Yep.
Pretty cool that he's coming back in it.
Loved it.
Anthony and Joe Russo will be directing the film. It'll be released in the United States on May 1st, 2026.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm pumped.
And there's a lot of, if you go and look at this is literally the cast list here.
So far.
You've
seen that April Fool's was funny with that. They did all the other characters from other movies.
Yeah, like I've seen all kinds of memes about this. Like the Predator's going to be in it.
Yeah.
Who's the other one? Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be back as the Terminator. What was it? Tillicum from Blackfish is going to be in it. I don't know.
They had fun with it.
They've had a lot of fun with it.
It's so funny because you go back to Logan, and for Patrick Stewart at the time and Hugh Jackman, they're like, all right, this is our high note. We're out. And then Stewart's come back. This will be his second time back, I think, because he was in Doctor Strange. It's a different version of his Charles. And then Jackman obviously came back for Deadpool Wolverine.
Right.
Famke Jensen's not in on this. Maybe she will make an appearance soon. But, ever since Days of Future Past, that was a beautiful end note to the Singer X-Men, because you got to see Marsden again.
Yeah, I thought it was too. And then I thought Deadpool Wolverine was a nice send-off to some of those other Fox Marvel characters.
For sure. But I think I'm so excited about James Marsden in this. I don't know why. I just think his Cyclops never got
he was a great Cyclops. I think it just kind of
didn't get much to do.
That whole the X-Men 3 and the whole thing with Superman Returns and him going with Bryan Singer and
right, because he was too busy working on Superman Returns.
Well, that's why they kind of killed him off in like 5 seconds, like a bitch.
So much,
he went out like Boba Fett.
Character you did of him, like in the third one.
Well, in can't think of the actor's name off the top of my head. I think it was like Ty Sheridan, I think is the kid's name. Don't quote me on that. But from First Class
as Gambit.
No, Cyclops. The kid that was introduced in the second.
They found him in the high school or something.
Yeah. Now, as a young Scott Summers who's not experienced, he was good. But James Marsden for me, out of the three,
you're talking about the actor who played in Ready Player One, right?
Yeah,
that dude. Okay, I thought you were meaning was it because Origins was different? I think Origins was it was a younger kid, but
not that kid.
It's kind of like that didn't happen.
No, I'm talking about the one from like Apocalypse and Days of Future Past, all that.
Right. They give him a chance to make people, especially Cyclops fans, happy, and maybe himself happy, because I think he almost got there. But I can't wait to see him in action. I hope it happens. I hope so.
And the one thing I've seen from the concept art that I hope makes it into this movie, because we've been getting a lot of comic accurate suits.
Yeah.
What I've seen for the concept art is that the X-Men are going to be in their 90s outfits.
That'd be cool.
It might be a little more, might not be like spandex, but the color schemes. And I think they did a mock-up of what James Marsden could look like in the movie. And it's like kind of tactically armored, but it is the blue suit with the yellow sash of the X on his chest. And
God, I hope so, man.
I mean, they did it with Wolverine finally, and it only took 20 fucking years.
And it was well done. It was not,
but
I didn't find it like a laughing stock or anything.
Good.
It was perfect.
It did.
And I know a lot of people complained, and I wish, but I get it, because you want to reveal that mask at the end, probably.
I wish you would have done more in the mask.
Right, but they talked about when he was in the orange, right? Orange and brown or whatever the hell out.
Yeah, like the brown and orange.
Yeah. They're like, oh, he should have his mask there. But like, they want to reveal that for the end though, because marketing, they never showed it. The only time you got to see it was like on a toy or a statue. They did
or the popcorn bucket.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. It's funny.
I can't wait to see the popcorn bucket for this movie.
It's kind of like if Captain America, or I'm sorry, what was the Brave New World or something like that? I already forgot the title of it. Captain America 4, everybody. It's like if they didn't show you Red Hulk and you just saw the merch. Like that might have been cool to have that surprise, perhaps. But
which I will say this for toy companies. Not that it was a big spoiler that Red Hulk was in it, because he was in the second trailer they ever made. But they were like, Lego was really bad about this when they'd make a set for a tie-in.
Notoriously bad.
They'd have like a spoiler of a minifigure in there, like, oh, I guess he's going to be in the movie now.
So
but we still have the Spider-Man Brand New Day,
which is the last episode of Field of Geeks. Didn't you and Jonah talk about how bad that comic run was?
Yes.
Although, if you're playing off of the last Spider-Man, no one knows he's Spider-Man, so he's not like married to Mary Jane or anything. So
it makes
it better, I guess.
It makes sense, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hope it's good.
Please be good.
But there's been speculation. Of course, there's a whole list of people that aren't mentioned for this movie yet, which includes Spider-Man, Daredevil, Moon Knight. You know, the street level heroes,
Yep, sure.
the ones that have movies coming out, like Spider-Man, I think is the only other one that's got a movie coming out that's not in the movie yet.
Right, and he wasn't revealed part of the cast or anything like that. But
there's still a lot going on with Sony.
yeah, well, that also reminds me, it's a tangent, but we talked about Bond last time. Supposedly Amy Pascal could be running the new Bond regime, and I'm like so pissed because she's the one that like dropped the ball on all those Craven. Morpheus, like no.
Now I will say,
No.
Craven is in my list to watch. It's on Netflix.
Yep.
It's on my list. I have not watched it yet. I'm waiting for a day where I don't have anything to do the next day because I'm probably going to be crying myself to sleep.
Right. Now, we mentioned Kelsey Grammer being in this. Do you think he's going to be fully CG like he was at the end of Marvels?
I think he is.
Probably because of his age too, you think?
I think his age had a lot to do with it in the Marvels, why they did it that
It's
way.
most comic accurate.
Right.
The last time he put the makeup on was Days of Future Past.
Right. And if you watch the Frasier reboot, he's not exactly in superhero shape.
Still got that great voice, though.
Which he doesn't have to be because he has the perfect voice for the Beast.
Yeah. And Sideshow Bob.
And Sideshow Bob.
So do you think Alan Cummings will be CG, though? Because he's older now.
I hope not.
Because he doesn't have fur, right? That's why you need him to be more practical.
But... Okay, so going back to the first so I'm separating this by original X-Men and first class X-Men.
Yeah.
Right, the old cast and the new cast.
Sure.
I thought he was way better as Nightcrawler than the Bucky Beaver kid we got for the young Nightcrawler.
Sure.
What I want them to get rid of is like he made sense in the original
Singer.
not Snyder, Singer, thank you.
Easily mixed.
Well, at least Zack Snyder didn't.
Right?
Never mind.
Yep, never mind.
Did he? Or didn't he? No, I'm just kidding. Did he? I like the way he looked, and I like that they mentioned the whole angelic symbols and stuff, but I want the
costume.
I want the costume.
Yeah.
I want the red and black costume, the white gloves, the sword, all that. Give me all that.
I'm sure we'll get it. This is like
they almost have to do close-up stuff. Yes. Practical effects, makeup, all that stuff, which if Rebecca Romaine's in it, they're going to do the same thing for her.
True. Yep.
Like the wide shots, kind of like they did with Gambit in Deadpool Wolverine. You know, obviously they kind of CGI'd that up a little bit. So,
well, yeah, if you got Channing's Gambit, you're going to definitely probably have the 90s team.
I really hope so, because what I don't want them to do is go do what Fox did, where they teased us with comic accurate stuff and then took it away. We don't need the entire Avengers team to have a monochrome one size fits all uniform. They're not in Starfleet.
Right.
You know, we don't need that shit.
Yeah. Leather needs to go. No more leather. Let's get some color in there.
I will say, the characters that are missing from this, like Ironheart, Echo, so far I've heard that Sylvie and Mobius and all that might be in it.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But the characters that are missing, with the exception of Daredevil, Moon Knight, and Spider-Man, I don't care.
Sure.
I don't need to see them. I don't need to see Ironheart. I don't need to see Okoye.
It's too much.
The 50 other people that have tech suits. Joaquin Torres, I think, is
is he
not
announced?
in it.
Oh, not in it, yeah.
Not listed yet, but then again, he might still be in traction by the time this movie comes out.
Build actors they released versus you'll probably have cameos from other people.
Right. But
it's Julia, is that how you say her name? Her character's name?
Okoye?
Okoye.
Yeah.
Remember when they released the Endgame poster and she wasn't on it and people got really pissed off about it, and then it turns out there was a reason because she wasn't really in it much.
Yeah. We don't need the whole montage girls get it done montage they've done in the past ones, but I do like what they made this and it's fan generated, but there is this one thing that kind of echoes from the comics of Thanos approaching Doctor Doom, and he's do you have any Infinity Stones on you? It's no, but I'm still the Mad Titan. He's not that it matters, and rips his spine out.
Jesus, really?
Yeah. And that's from the God Emperor Doom comic book panel. But
God,
it's if they go that dark with Doctor Doom, sign me up, because Doctor Doom is a badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Supposedly Downey's doing his research very well on it, reading all kinds of material.
Yeah.
I hope so, man. And the Russo brothers, I have pretty much.
I have a lot of faith in the Russos.
I do, but it has dwindled ever since they have left Marvel. They haven't really had the same success.
I disagree wholheartedly.
Do you? Okay.
Disagree
To be fair,
wholeheartedly.
I've not seen those projects, but
Because there's one on my recommended list that if you haven't seen it yet, I want you to check it out because it'll totally change your mind on that.
okay. And I think I know which one you're talking about. And
Okay.
it's one I do want to see. But they did a movie with Tom Holland as like a vet or something, and then they did had Evans in it, and was it Hemsworth? I forgot what it was, but it was the Netflix movie. And obviously the newest one is the Chris Pratt one.
The Electric State.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, which still looks good to me.
Based off of a graphic novel.
Cool.
So they know their stuff. They do their research.
So you were saying with the old Doomsday thing, you think there could be a reboot happening potentially? Was that something you were talking about?
I think that. So here's the thing. Like, we all know that like Phase 4 was dog shit.
Yeah.
We can all
right?
We can all pretty much agree on that was dog shit.
Yeah.
There was some good aspects to it.
Yeah,
not a lot.
Visually, yeah.
Movie wise, there wasn't some good. There was not good things.
Right.
I don't see. I have the same feeling after Endgame, or that I think I'm going to have the same feeling that I did after Endgame. Where do you go from here?
Yeah.
There's years and years and thousands of comics worth of stories out there you can do.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do another big ensemble movie like this, do Doomsday, Secret Wars, all that stuff, where do you go from here?
Right.
You can't keep bringing back, at some point, I think it's great that Anthony Mackie's taken over as Captain America. I think he can carry it. I think he can be a MCU leading man.
Sure.
By no means do I not think he can do that.
Yeah.
But at some point, he's going to get the same feeling that Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Hugh Jackman, have all gotten, that I don't want to just do superhero movies the rest of my life. I want to move on to something bigger.
Sure. Yep.
And not only that, but there's kind of some tension there with like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on with that. So I don't know about the future of Deadpool. I'd love to see Deadpool. There's another one that's not on this list. Is Deadpool.
Right.
I'd love to see him come into it at some point.
I
but
think you could. This might be controversial. I think you could totally recast at this point, do a start over, or continue it.
But who are you going to get that has that attitude?
I don't know. That's the problem. But I don't know.
It's kind of the same thing with Spider-Man. Like, you have to have somebody who can be, which love Tom Holland as Spider-Man,
Yeah.
but I don't like the golly gee Mr. Stark bullshit that he does.
Dead now, so you won't get that.
Well, but still, like,
know.
I'm hoping that we finally get a Spider-Man that grows the fuck up.
I think we will, because that's really what they, were pushing towards. I think at the end of the last Spider-Man film, and the font is different. Like, it doesn't have that whole homecoming look to it.
It's not the what I call the scrapbook.
Yeah. Yes.
Look to it.
Yep.
Doesn't have that. I'm hoping we get a more mature Peter Parker this time around.
Yep. He'll be in college. We know that, right?
Well, yeah.
That's where they were all off to in the last.
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
But I want to see the Peter Parker who's, can throw out those quips and all that, but not be so
Sure.
childish with it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was where they were going with not No Way Home, Far From Home.
Oh, right.
I thought they were leading towards that when he got all serious and was getting stitched up by Happy in the plane. Like, finally, he's going to grow the hell up. And then, no, all of a sudden it's like, oh, Ned, hand me my web fluid.
Jokes and jokes and jokes. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Anyway. Or just bring back Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
I'm totally, you know what, after No Way Home, totally fine with him taking over.
Right. I think that would have fixed Madam Web's problem, too. He needed a Spider-Man in there. And I think he shot some scenes in it. So, but whatever. Thank you, Amy Pascal. Let's see what you do with Bond. Oh, Jesus. But we got some trailers. Rust has finally come out. The trailer.
Yeah.
This has been obviously a huge controversial film ever since that cinematographer was accidentally killed by Alec Baldwin, which is something that will, I think, haunt him the rest of his life and his fans. Like, I don't think I can never really see him and not think of that anymore, and it's very tragic, but they got the movie going again, and
The trailer looks good.
even the pictures I saw before, or the production stills, like, yeah, it looks beautifully made. And
I'm on a big Western kick right now because I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 for the first time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I like a good Western.
Yeah.
Not the cheesy ones like my dad liked, I think, but
not the spaghetti Westerns.
well, no, I don't know. Some of them were just kind of, I don't know, bonanza or something. I don't know. I like Silverado. That's one of my favorite westerns.
Yeah, Tombstone.
Tombstone, of course. But yeah, 310 to Yuma.
310 to Yuma was really good.
It was a remake too, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was.
Yep. But yeah, this Rust looks good. I think it's about Alec Baldwin's a grandfather, and his grandson's in some trouble, I think, and so they're on a mission to get him out of the trouble, and
yeah,
it looks beautifully made. Like I said, will you go see it? You think?
I will. I don't want to get into a huge tangent here, but we are on the coming up on the third weekend of Snow White's release.
Sure.
And I don't think people will avoid Rust the way they avoided that.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I think that it's really tragic what happened on the set of this movie. But I think you can agree with this or not. I think we owe it to everybody that's worked so hard on that film, and we owe it to the memory of the people that have unfortunately lost their lives on the set of this film to go see it in the theaters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it looks good.
It does. It does.
And I hope at some point Alec Baldwin can get the help that he may need.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for him, obviously.
Right.
It's not like I have him on speed dial.
Probably not the way to go.
No. Jesus Christ, please don't. Not on TLC of all places.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that outburst of his wife on the red carpet with him, but I'm like, dude can't afford to get another divorce because he's got how many kids with her? Like 8 kids. He's gonna be broke.
Yeah.
Counseling.
I really hope this movie does well.
I do too.
And I'm looking forward to seing it.
Yeah, me too.
I will definitely go see it.
I think I was excited to see it before this happened, and
I was too, and I'm not going to not see it because of what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to go see it because it looks like a good movie.
It does. It looks good. Happy Gilmore too. Quite a different.
Wow.
change in,
Yeah.
Are you a big fan of the original?
Oh, huge fan.
And
This is what Happy Gilmore is what got me into Adam Sandler movies.
I thought you were gonna say golf.
No, oh God,
golf.
no. But I will say that when
Billy Madison, I know Billy Madison was big at the time.
see, I saw Happy Gilmore first, then I saw Billy Madison.
Okay, yeah.
I'm glad because I know Adam Sandler has wanted to do this for a while, and it's not just a
Cash grab,
yep. Contractual obligation kind of thing. If it was, he would have done it years ago.
Sure.
I'm glad that for the most part the original cast is coming back. Sans, of course, a few that are no longer with us.
Yes. And he's embracing age. That's for sure.
Yeah, he is.
He's not trying to look young or anything. He's got a beard.
No.
Rose feet on his eyes.
It looks good. You kind of get from the trailer. You kind of get the sense of like that classic Adam Sandler comedy kind of stuff to it. I think he makes a reference to himself looking like SpongeBob.
Yeah.
From the busts they show of the legendary golfers. Supposedly he's teaming up with Shooter McGavin in this one.
Oh, okay.
To take down a new up and coming golf pro. That's what the premise was. I don't know if that's necessarily what it is now.
Right.
But this will be
good guy sort of shooter.
The thing that gives me pause on this is it's going to be released on Netflix.
Yeah, I know.
But when we get into recommendations, there is a Netflix movie of his that I've recently seen that I really liked, and he has done some good work on his Netflix films. So
yeah, they've all been pretty successful.
Ridiculous 6.
Yeah, that was
horrible.
Worse than Billy Madison. Like
that was
adolescent level.
If Billy Madison was like sophomore humor, Ridiculous 6 was sewage septic
junior
tank.
High or
God,
elementary, junior high.
It was like Freddy got fingered.
Oh yeah.
Levels of humor.
Right.
Like you'd have to be high and suffering a mild concussion to enjoy it.
Two things make me nervous about this movie. Otherwise, I'm like, I'll see it either way, especially if it's on Netflix. But one is, I'm nervous about all the cameos of celebrities because you only had Bob Barker really be the cameo in the first one. That was noticeable.
But that's become kind of a thing that
I get it. I just hope
Sandler
it doesn't take over like the story. Like it's too busy going like, oh look who that is, things like that.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong. Not like I don't want any of those cameos. I think some could be really good. I have a fear that his wife is no longer with him. Like she's passed away because of certain shots. You don't really see the whole family interacting without her or with her.
Yeah.
And then there's scenes with her, like she waves at him from the crowd, and it's just the way they like placed her, it's like she's not really in the crowd. She's kind of like outside of it.
They kind of give this one a more somber.
Yeah, and he's really bummed out, and he's trying to find his happy place. And I'm thinking like, I think she passed away because they're like moving out of the house, and he's bummed, and it's like, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I have a bad feeling that's what's going on with that storyline. I hope not, but I'll see it otherwise.
I'll still see it because
and I love Christopher McDonald coming back. That was like that. I think that's the role he's most noticed as playing, and he's definitely grateful for it. And
well, and the two of them on like social media have been teasing this forever.
Oh sure, yeah,
like you know, Adam Sandler would be out at the golf course and be like,
"Yeah, I remember
you're next shooter," and then he's like,
"Yeah."
I don't know. He like replied back to him, did something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Christopher McDonald, I love him as a character actor.
Oh,
anyway.
he's great.
He's phenomenal.
He's great.
I even liked him in the superhero movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he played like Norman Osborn like guy, right?
Yeah, he was hilarious in that.
Dude, his range is like crazy. Like I saw, you know, if you have YouTube out, well, yeah, everyone has YouTube, I think, whether it's premium or not.
It's free, guys.
It is free. Like this movie is free. Quiz Show. I don't know if you've ever seen Quiz Show.
Yeah.
Robert Redford directed that, I believe. I've been seeing these films on YouTube, you know, for free now.
Oh, that's right. They have like movies for free with ads or whatever.
Yeah.
You can watch. Yeah.
And I have premium, so it's no ads, which is nice, but it's free. Otherwise,
you bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I joined it for
No, I know.
So it was a good reason to get it. But once you get it, it's like it's addictive, and I don't want to go back to ads as much as possible. But yeah, that movie popped up. Love that film. Like I'm finally seeing movies I should have seen a long time ago, and I'd rather see them on physical media because that's the best way to see them. But it's convenience. But he was in Quiz Show. A lot of people were. That's a great film of his, and he was in Star Trek for an episode, a famous episode, Yesterday's Enterprise. So I've been a big fan of him. He's been all over the place. But yeah, I'm happy he's got this role people really love and recognize him for. But yeah, I'm excited. And as much as he was a villain in the last one, I'm okay with him being kind of a good guy in this one. I don't mind that. I mean, it's been years, so it's been what, 30 years since the last one? Actually, it has, exactly, right? Yeah, 95. So, yeah, I'm excited.
I really hope it gets a limited theatrical release.
I hope. Netflix is so weird about that, though. I saw what's it called? It was a sequel to Knives Out. I saw that.
Oh, Glass Onion.
Yes, thank you. That was only out for a week, and I managed to get tickets to see it. It was a month before it came out on Netflix.
I remember that, yeah.
It was hard. Every showing was like jam-packed. So I don't think they've released since then like that. I wish they would.
Well, I know he has like a specific deal with Netflix.
Right.
Adam Sandler does.
Yeah.
Like in his production company, Happy Madison.
Yep.
Has that same deal with them, but
yeah,
just for the pure
I know
nostalgia factor of it.
Right.
It would be, I mean, they're still showing like his older movies, once in a while they'll have like Fathom events or like re-releases of flicks or something like that. So
yeah,
it'd be cool to see like a limited release.
I hope at least they do it a week, but it's going to be packed. But
it would be, but I think like, I think they're almost, granted, I don't know what his contract is money-wise, what he gets on these movies, but
it was a big deal, I think, when he signed with them initially.
Yeah,
it was
because he originally was a 6-picture deal, and he's beyond that now.
Right.
But they're almost just throwing money away if they don't do a theatrical run of this.
I know, because the metrics on how things get viewed, it's very vague, and it's not. I don't know how it's done. It's like they can hide the numbers that way versus it being in a box office.
Yeah, and you go by, Netflix has like the little thumbs up, thumbs down rating system. And if you've got 6 accounts on your account, you go to each one and say thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Right.
That's kind of.
I'd like to check out the numbers that Glass Onion did for its week in the theaters, just to see if it was worth it, perhaps.
I want to say it did pretty damn good.
Yeah.
For just a week out.
And it was sold out, so it was successful. I hope they. Yeah, I don't know. Something this big, I could see them maybe doing that. But if they. Isn't it out this month or next month?
It's coming up.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly when.
I think by now they'd have an announcement of it coming.
Well, usually with his movies being Netflix exclusives, they don't usually release a trailer until it's like ready to come out.
Right. Yeah.
So
maybe they'll do a special weekend engagement. Like that'll put people in
that would be cool.
I think so anyway.
Like if you do like a double feature thing where you show the first one and then the second one right after.
Well, another sequel that is actually going to get a theatrical release versus its predecessor, Mortal Kombat 2.
Yes.
Which we did talk about last time, but it's like they heard us and they released all these stills afterwards.
We got more news on it. And
it's posing.
Well, and what prompted a lot of this too is that Ed Boon, one of the co-creators of Mortal Kombat, the original game and the franchise and everything, recently sat down with, I want to say Variety, Don't quote me on that, but he did sit down and do an interview and talk a lot about like what the future of this movie looks like and everything else. So, of course, by now we all know Karl Urban is playing Johnny Cage. We talked about that last episode. We've gotten some more stills from his like set, his performance on set. So those of you familiar with the games, you know, like in the first few games, he was like, you know, kind of a young action star, like a Jean-Claude Van Damme in the 80s, 90s kind of thing.
Yep.
This is where he's playing more of a washed up action star. So kind of, you know, gives you the reasoning for Karl Urban versus like a younger
That's cool.
person being cast,
change up, yeah.
which is cool.
Explains
And the later games kind of started focusing more on the Cage family and putting them like front and center.
Yeah, doesn't he have like a wife or something that's in it, or daughter or something?
So in the games, he does get married to Sonya Blade. He has a daughter.
Oh, cool.
In Mortal Kombat 10, the only thing that can defeat Shinnok is like the green energy of the Cage family.
Okay.
Fucking video game.
Does it mean money? Is that what it means?
No.
Green.
No, it's like a certain technique, like his little shadow kick thing that he does.
Yeah.
Like somehow that's like Shinnok's kryptonite. But we did get some more casting for this movie. Of course, the entire cast from the previous film is coming back. Some of those, I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that unless they like make them revenants or whatever.
Yeah.
But we did get a casting for Shao Kahn, Martin Ford, who played Goliath in House of David. If you don't know what he's like, I think the most recent movie he did was The Machine.
Okay.
The Burt Kreischer movie. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
Big son bitch. And if you look at the set photos from House of David, he's almost in a suit that looks like Shao Kahn.
Oh shit.
So and he's a big guy.
Yeah.
So I think it's a perfect cast for Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn's a larger than life kind of character anyway.
Right.
A lot of these newer actors and actresses that are in it are like from TV series. So we have Adeline Rudolph as Katana. She was in Riverdale, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and she played Billy Wesker in the Resident Evil TV series. That's a real accolade for you. No, I'm kidding. That show sucked. It was good because it had Lance Reddick in it.
Okay, sure.
But
give it
beyond that.
Yep.
I'm going to butcher this. Anna Tu Nguyen as Sindel.
Sounds right.
Sure. And then Desmond
Tutu.
Haim.
Oh.
Desmond Haim. I don't know how you say that. Is King Jared, who's like Katana's father, like the Edenia emperor before Shao Kahn comes in and takes over.
Okay, sure.
And he was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, nice.
One of the brief, like, kind of minion roles in that. Again, rest of the original cast is coming back. Louis Tan's role as Cole Young is going to be more reduced. He's got like mid billing in this, where I think he had like top billing in the first one.
Was he our way in the first one? It's like a new character.
So exactly like the way Ed Boon described this is going to be the second in a trilogy. So the first movie, of course, we're introduced to everybody. This is going to be the tournament. The third movie is going to be like the fallout from the tournament.
Oh, that's cool. I like
and he even said Cole Young was kind of our like audience surrogate in the first one.
Sure.
You know, they had just like a normal everyday man who you know, shows up to train for this tournament, you know, to kind of give us our in to the characters and everything like that. But
gotcha.
I'm looking forward to it. The first one absolutely kicked ass. So
I'm happy it's going to be in theaters.
I'm looking forward to it.
Give it a real test, you know, if it can make a lot of money.
Yeah. Which the first one released simultaneously.
I think it just went to streaming.
No, I went and saw it in theaters.
Was it in theater? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. I had no idea. I thought it was. Oh, maybe. You know what? Maybe that was the Warner Brothers plan, wasn't it? Like everything would also come on streaming, but be in the theaters.
I want to say that's what they did with it. Yeah. They released it both on streaming and in theaters.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yep. I remember that now. I guess I thought it was all streaming, but yeah, it was both. Yep. Okay.
But I'm looking forward to it, especially because Kano's back in this one, and he absolutely stole the show in the first one.
Did.
He was amazing.
That's going to be a nice trick to bring it back.
Well, you know, they did say like death is just another portal in the first one, and in the video games, nobody stays dead forever.
Yeah.
I mean, people come back to life all the time, and timey-wimey bullshit happens, and, you know.
And we love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, I think that's what we had for movies.
Yeah.
Should we move into recommendations?
Sure.
All right. Yeah. You saw Novocaine.
Yes.
How was that?
I liked it. It was really well done, and I might do a bigger review on it. I'm not sure I should, but I mean, I should. That was a space. I'm not sure I will, but I should.
Yeah.
I want to. I liked Jack Quaid is awesome in everything he does. Pretty much, he really steals the show in this movie. Like he really is a leading.
So the premise for I've only ever seen like a couple trailers on it.
Genetic disorder.
So you can't feel pain. Right. Okay.
So, but it really goes into like the realism of that. Like, I mean, it's kind of a spoiler, but his diet's like all liquid because he's afraid to chew anything because he doesn't feel.
So if he like were to bite his tongue, bite through his tongue or something, he wouldn't feel
that's
it.
why, yeah.
Cool.
So basically, his parents like kind of secluded him growing up because he's like fragile, pretty much, and so yeah, it's all about timing. This movie, like you find out about his like he also has to set a timer to remember to go to the bathroom. Like that's how they get into it. Like how
wow.
Yeah, because he can't feel, so he's like, oh shit, I'll piss my pants if I don't.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, it really legitimately is like Novocaine. Like he doesn't feel.
That's anything. Cool as hell.
It's a really cool premise, and hijinks ensue. You can see a lot of the spoilers from the trailer alone. It's still worth seeing.
That's what I was kind of worried about. Is like, did I just basically see all the good parts of the movie? I see the trailer.
I will say it's a little slow build in the beginning, but that's okay because you really get into. I mean, I'm not spoiling much. It's the gist of the trailer. He loves this girl. He falls for her. You get all that like timing to take its time, and they develop a relationship. It's not like boom, 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 boom. But once it gets going, it gets going pretty good, and it was funny. It was a lot of laugh out loud moments. Everyone in the audience, unfortunately, seeing the trailer, I could see a lot of it coming. But it's got the dude from Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I don't know his name, but he's a short, bald dude. But he's funny. Like this is like the only thing he's done outside of Spider-Man I've seen him in. I know he's done other things, but his part was funny. Yeah, good, pretty rounded cast. I think Jack Quaid's the most noticeable one, obviously, by name. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was worth seeing, and there's other things out. Like he's really nailing it right now. He came out with that movie a few weeks before, Companion, which is like he has this AI robot that I don't know becomes self-aware or something. But anyway, it's like he's really choosing like really good projects, really interesting movies. And I just saw a preview today. I think it was called Neighborhood Watch with him and Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah,
and that looks really good too. It's funny because it's similar. He sees a girl get kidnapped, whatever, and I'm like, oh man, I just saw this movie.
Well, see, that's what I was.
Different too. It's different too, but
that's what I was worried about with it. Like from the trailer, I want to see it.
Novocaine. We're talking about. Yeah.
And I'm big fan. I've been a big fan of Jack Quaid ever since The Boys.
Yeah.
My problem is sometimes when I get so familiar with somebody in a role, it's hard for me to dissociate them unless they're in a movie that's totally different.
Right. Yeah, it's like their acting range is kind of similar.
I'm worried that by watching it, I'll see him as Huey from The Boys.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I kind of had the same, like, to give you an example, I kind of had the same problem with, like...
Ryan Reynolds?
No. Well, yeah.
I mean, Deadpool, because that was, like,
to an extent, but,
matched.
But like, Michael Cera.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I saw him in Superbad, and then I saw him in Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist and Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
I kind of saw him as the same guy.
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg, I feel the same way. I kind of see him as the same, like, neurotic dude.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I mean, they're good with what they get. But yeah, range-wise, it's like,
he's a really good actor.
It might be a similar character. But again, when they're casting these movies, they're probably like, we need a guy who's like this character. Oh, they probably wrote him like that.
Right, right.
But I will say, like...
But to the same token, I thought I was going to see the same thing with Tom Holland when I saw Uncharted. And he was a totally different from Peter Parker Spider-Man. So.
Yeah, I still need to see that, but yeah. That's hard to say, but I think...
If you, like, without getting too much into, like, spoilers and all that stuff, if you, out of 5, I'm going to give you my 5-star rating that I do.
Okay.
It, like, 1 being horrible, 5 being, like, totally recommended, great movie. What would you rank it as?
I'd probably do 4, actually.
Really? Okay.
I think I would. Yeah, I would. It's a movie I would actually probably buy too. So that's really my rating system anymore.
Is
like,
it
do I
one?
want to see this again?
Right.
I would want to see it again. Yes.
And I'm a big advocate for seeing movies in the theaters, especially if it's one that's got like big budget CGI,
Sure.
or, special effects, all that stuff. Is this one you feel like you need to see in the theaters, or is it one that's like it's good but you can wait for it to come out on streaming?
I think it's good for theaters. I do, because you go on an adventure. You really do. It's not. Yeah, I think it's worth seeing in a theater for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's still. I think it was like its second or third week when I saw it, and it was still. it was still attractive to me. Like, yeah, I'll go see that. I want to see that. I'm pumped to see it, you know. And I know there's other things out, but yeah, I think theatrical wise, yeah, and it wasn't like sold out, but it was a pretty good crowd for its third week, I think, second week. But yeah, I think it's worth seeing. It's a rom-com, but it's different, you know,
like an action rom-com kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, it's got a unique premise, and you kind of like you fear for him because it's like, oh, I don't want him getting hurt, you know, because everything he does, it's like, yeah, for this girl, it's like.
That's just from what you said of it. I'm like, God, I never thought about that. Like you think,
it's a great setup. They really put thought into it. It's not like just.
It's like, oh, he can't feel pain.
Right. It's not just a gimmick. Like, you know, I think from the previews, a lot of people were like, well, because this is a deep dive. But do you remember Pierce Brosnan's movie, James Bond movie, The World Is Not Enough? Mm-hmm. The villain in that couldn't feel pain. But there was never it never really seemed like there was a sacrifice. Like, you know, like, dude, you can't just hold something super hot. It's going to like.
It's gonna
third
affect
degree
you.
Burns. It will. Yeah, your hand will come off or something.
Well, like the first Deadpool, the villain in that, Ajax or you know, Francis, whatever you want to call him.
I'm gonna spell it for you.
Like, let's say like, oh, they burned all his nerve endings, so he can't feel pain.
Yeah,
I'm like, you may not feel pain, but you're still gonna bleed out if he cuts you all over.
Exactly. And this movie's totally like it stays on that premise. I mean, yeah, some of the wounds he gets out of like necessity, he has to keep going, right?
Right.
So like, yeah, you'd be like, yeah, I don't know, but it is really. Yeah, they really put thought in it, and it sets it up pretty nice. I think that's what's nice about the pacing in the beginning. It's a slow burn, but it's interesting though. It's not like, oh my god, I can't wait till it gets to action. And once it kicks into action, it's pretty much nonstop. Maybe some moments it slows down, but really cool. So
cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I strongly recommend it. Yeah, definitely.
Well, this is kind of a weird recommendation because I'm going to recommend a movie that hasn't come out yet.
Ooh, what? You got a sneak peek, huh?
I wish. Man, I'd love a screener of this movie. So Karate Kid Legends, we just got a new trailer for it. I saw a trailer for it at Brave New World, and then the trailer you told me about, I just checked that out before the show here, and it's a newer trailer. And the reason I'm recommending it is because one, it's coming out before too long. It's like end of May.
Yeah,
it's coming out that weekend. The same weekend we're going to be at Des Moines Con.
See you there. Better be there.
But I'm also, because I've been talking the last few episodes on here about how I've been watching, you know, catching up on stuff on Netflix.
Yeah.
I finally finished Shameless.
Cool. That's wild. 11 seasons, right?
Man. Yeah.
How long did it take you? I didn't feel like it'd take that long, did it?
I had just started watching it when we did 226.
Oh my god, that's 2 episodes ago. But of course they've been spread out. But yeah,
because that was when we had Steve on, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was when I first started watching. I think I had just about finished season 1 at that point.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
nice.
Yeah, that's the great thing about insomnia. You can binge watch shit. No, I'm kidding. So I finished that up, and there's a few other things that I've been meaning to catch up on Netflix that have been out for a while. One of those was the remainder of season 6 of Cobra Kai.
Nice.
Finished that up. Highly recommend it. My God, it was done. Perfect ending to a season, or to a series, rather.
Good.
Which I can't say the same for Shameless. I was disappointed in that.
Oh boy.
But yeah, that's it's coming out soon. This is going to follow season 6 of Cobra Kai.
Cool. I better catch up. Or be spoiled, I guess.
I think more so Daniel's story is what you'll need to be caught up on.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's going to tie into any of the side characters or to Johnny or...
So without spoiling it, makes sense that there's no other characters involved with it.
You'll understand why at the end of it.
Because I will say Martin Kove was interviewed, and him and everyone else at Cobra Kai didn't have any idea of what this new movie was going to be. And I was like, that's kind of a dick move, man. Like, these people like brought the franchise back, and it's like, you know, but like, you know, I'm sorry.
Badly want to say it, but I can't.
I'm sorry.
You have to watch the rest of Cobra Kai to get it.
I will. I'm behind. Like,
but I do agree with you. It's kind of a dick move that I can't say anything.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm shutting up now.
I'll catch up on Cobra Kai right now.
I'm shutting up now. And if you've seen the rest of it, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay. You know. Gotcha. I'll check it out.
In addition to that, I've been watching other things that I'm like, oh, hey, maybe I should check that out. The Electric State, which was done by the Russo brothers.
Sure. Okay.
Starring Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown.
Nice.
Really good movie.
Really. Okay.
If you like, it's kind of like sci-fi-ish. I could almost see this as like what would happen or what happened to the world before the Matrix.
Oh.
Kind of like
really?
AI kind of takes.
Cool.
there's some convoluted stuff in there, but
which is like our times now with AI getting more and more used.
I have another story about that, about something I watched recently. But yeah, it's a really good movie.
Okay,
I also saw Project Power, which is a 2020 film.
Oh,
but it's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Jamie Foxx.
Okay.
And it's basically, the concept is like there's this drug that'll give you superpowers for 5 minutes at a time, but you don't know what the power is going to be. You could just spontaneously explode, or you could be.
well, that's terrifying.
It's really cool.
This is a Netflix movie?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Really well done.
Holy shit.
Really well done movie. I highly recommend it.
Okay, good.
And then, of course, I constantly need stuff to listen to while I'm at work.
Sure.
So there's one. It's a documentary that just came out called Dirty Pop.
Okay.
And it's about the guy who financed like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC,
Yes.
a lot of the boy bands.
Watch that one. Yeah.
And you talk about it's scary what they can do with AI. So this guy's the subject of this movie or this documentary, long since dead, right? But he wrote a book, and they do excerpts from the book, and they do it as if he's sitting at the table talking. Like they have somebody doing his voice, but like they did this video in a way to like match his movements and mannerisms and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they totally did it with AI.
Wow.
But it's kind of freaky how they did it.
Man.
So it's almost like he's giving an interview for the documentary, but he's dead.
Oh, is he dead in real life?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I saw this sucker, and I think I was like, why is he's like dressed normal, right? And he's talking?
Yeah, he's like sitting at a wooden desk, like giving an interview in his den.
That was
kind
AI?
of. I think so. There's like a little blurb
of it.
There's like a blurb at the.
Whoa. Okay.
And granted, so there's like a blurb at the beginning of it that you have to read, and that's the only bad thing about me listening to documentaries and stuff like that when I'm at work, because I'm listening to it, not watching it.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's a little blurb on there that explains.
Wow, I need to go back.
Kind of the uncanny valley aspect of it.
Wow. But he's already a creep, so it really plays into that, maybe.
Yeah. But it gives you some background on this. During the 90s, when boy bands started becoming really popular, I leaned the other way. I was more into like metal and Nirvana.
Girl bands. Destiny's Child, y'all.
Man.
But now you like boy bands, though, right?
No, fuck off.
Okay, I don't either.
Of course not. I never liked them because I'm like, it's so manufactured and all this other stuff. This kind of gives you another insight
it's
into
been that way
it.
since the 50s, really.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it, yeah.
But some of the stuff this guy got up to, holy shit.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Like, he ripped them off, too, right? Like,
oh, yeah. Big time ripped them off.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'd known that for a while, and I think we talked about that when we were talking about, like, way back when we were talking about, like, Britney Spears getting
documentary,
like,
or whatever it was. Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Like, you think about how popular Backstreet Boys, as an example, we saw it in high school.
Yeah.
They were everywhere.
They're so popular.
Yeah.
My kids listen to music still. It's like, you have any idea that's like 25 years old? It's great.
Can you imagine doing that for over like 2 years and then being handed a $10,000 check?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. So anyway,
that's insane.
I recommend checking it out, especially if you're a music history buff. Yeah. Like I am. Like I love listening to stuff about like behind the scenes stuff about musicians and all that.
Sure. Yeah.
Trying to think what else I've seen. I think that about wraps it up.
Cool.
My next thing is going to be Squid Game and Arcane. I have to catch up on those.
Nice stuff to see Squid Game. I haven't seen
it. And then at some point, I'm going to get Disney Plus back so I can watch Daredevil.
Yeah. Nice. I will recommend one thing else, I guess. Actually just got caught up today. Robert Meyer Burnett is a guy I follow on YouTube. He directed Free Enterprise back in the day. His production company, they just rolled out this true noir audio drama. And it's Nathan Hiller. He's a detective in like the 30s. It's based off the author's name escapes me. Maxwell Collins, I think. He lives in Iowa, I think Davenport, and he wrote Road to Perdition.
Oh wow!
And his Nathan Heller is his first book with him in it was called True Detective, but because of the HBO show, he's not able to use that for like this audio drama, so they call it True Noir, I believe. I could be getting some of this wrong. But anyway, I bought this. This was a Kickstarter. I bought into it for like $30 back in January or so. And I kind of left it alone for a little bit. And now I decided to watch or listen to it today. And it's awesome. It's well done. It's something I want us to get into, some audio dramas. I've been playing around with ideas for a long time. And it's really well done, like I said.
Yeah.
Very well done. I got all caught up, and I thought the whole thing was over. And they're like, stay tuned for Chapter 9. I'm like, no. I was like, so invested.
There's a lot of those like audio drama podcasts that I got
Wolverine
into.
Did one years ago. That was a huge success. It was on I forgot the platform it was on, but anyway, that was they had 2 seasons. First season was really noticeable, and I listened to it. It was really well done.
They had one. They had a Batman one.
Yes.
And Lance Reddick was involved in that too. He played Thomas Wayne, I want to say.
Oh, cool. Great casting. Yeah, HBO actually, I think, still has those audio dramas on there, the podcast. Or
yeah, and I think these were like...
Maybe it's a different one, but I know that they were doing a Batman.
Yeah, there was one on...
Yeah.
I want to say it was on Spotify, and then there was another one that was like from Harley Quinn's perspective.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They also had the Little Nightmares one that I listened to, and I was like, God, I wish there was more of this.
Yeah, you got to check this out.
A lot of them are really well done.
I would share it to you if I could. I might be able to, but... Wink. It's really well done, and what's awesome is Robert Meyer Burnett's really into like the quality of it, and I'm sure everyone else involved in the project, but he actually did a 5.1 surround sound mix of it in stereo, which you have to download that, I think, versus stream it. So I want to put my surround sound on down here and listen to that, because I can easily listen to it again, because I was working too while I was listening to it.
Yeah,
so I probably lost.
But I've also done that a lot with Audible and stuff like that. Like just every once in a while you get like a free audiobook, and I'll be like, oh, I've never read that.
Yeah.
So I'll just kind of listen to it. But
sure.
I know what you're saying though about like you were saying about listening to it in surround sound.
Yeah.
Like, because I've done that too, like on multitasking and listening to it while I'm doing this or whatever. And
that's how good it is. It's like I can listen to it again.
There's been a lot of audiobooks like that I've gotten into that I've always wanted to read. Like I did the Jeanette McCurdy autobiography a while back.
Okay, yeah, good.
Which is read by her.
Oh, cool. I love it when I do that.
Really good.
I think I got the Matthew McConaughey book he made, him talking.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Chapter. You ever driven in a Lincoln Continental?
I smoke some weed. What?
But one I've gone back to because I haven't read the book since middle school. It was 1984.
Okay.
So I'm listening to that one right now.
Cool.
I always loved that book. But,
nice.
Another thing on Netflix I would recommend if you haven't checked it out yet. I know we were talking about it before the show, and we were talking about Adam Sandler there and his Netflix shows that he's done. There's one called Spaceman, and it's I haven't seen a lot of dramatic roles that he's done. I know, what was it, like Rain Over Me, Punch Drunk Love.
Yep.
Those sort of ones.
Uncut Gems.
This is another really good one. It's like kind of more of a sci-fi kind of thing, but it's more of like art house ish. But
see, I didn't know it was that tone. Like
it really
funny and serious.
So this is it's not spoiling anything, but the premise of it is he's a cosmonaut, and he's on this space station shuttle kind of thing all on his own, and they really capture like the isolation of it quite a bit. But yeah, really good one to check out.
Check that out too. Yeah. There's so many things out there, and
and that's my thing too. Is I thought that there's a couple things I wanted to see on Netflix. I'd get caught up on those, and then I'd be like, because I only do one streaming service at a time. Yeah. Because I'm a cheap ass like that.
You save a lot of money.
But I'm like, I'll finish this on Netflix, and then I'll go back to another one. I'll go to Max or Paramount or whatever.
Yep.
And that hasn't happened yet. Here we are months later. I'm still finding stuff on Netflix.
Got plenty of stuff out there, so
I got more stuff coming that's on my reminder list. So I'm like, fuck. I might just have to get a part-time job for my streaming habit.
There you go.
Real quick, we want to get into some upcoming events. Of course, we've talked about it a little bit. We've got Des Moines Con coming up end of May. It's going to be May 30th, 31st, and June 1st. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We are getting a table for that again this year.
Yes.
Still got some kinks to work out with that and
we
figure out the logistics and all that good stuff. But we'll see you out there again for that. Another event that will be coming up in September, the Too Many Burgers 3 Extra Cheesy.
Yes.
We are joining Isaac, the guys at the Too Many Words podcast, Scaldstone Productions, at Fleur Cinema. We'll be doing that.
Great local theater. Yep, it was fun, and I missed you.
I wasn't able to be there last time. I think I was at a wedding or something.
Yes,
you had a good my buddies. Yeah, I had a good reason.
No, it was fun. Yeah.
I can't make it, Isaac. I'm sorry. No, but I am joining you guys for this. This year. So I'm looking forward to it.
The promotional art features all of us, because I told Isaac, like, hey, I'm not sure we can exactly be there, but what's the best way to do it? And he said, well, to get be the first announced guest, just give me everybody, I guess. So that's what I did. And we probably all won't be there. That'd be a miracle, but some of us will be. So but it'll be fun.
Very much looking forward to it. If you get a chance, Scaldstone Productions, they are out on YouTube as well. You can go check them out. The Too Many Words podcast as well. Go check them out. Great content on there. They're people we've made very good friends with since last year's Des Moines Con.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
also,
Yep.
want to give a shout out to Raven Xavier, the musical mastermind behind our wonderful theme song.
Yes.
You can find him on YouTube as well at Ravex Music, ravexmusic.bandcamp.com for downloading any of his music and any of the podcast episodes he does. Had a podcast episode come out not too long ago. He's also released a couple new tracks, so go check those out. And check out Choose Your Power, the greatest band you've never heard of.
There you go.
Also, you can check out the #1 Comics podcast hosted by Jonah and myself. Releases just about every Wednesday.
Yeah.
We've been on a pretty good schedule for that.
Sure.
And probably going to be recording some new content here before too long.
Yep.
Where we talk about #1 issues of comics. Of course, you can check us out YouTube, Podbean, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Yep. Under the umbrella. Field Geeks umbrella. Yep.
Yeah. And of course, Billy Creston Gaming. You want to check that out, save the best for last. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right.
So youtube.com at Billy Creston, or you can check us out on Facebook at Billy Creston Gaming. I have a couple things I'm working on, putting out there. I didn't get a chance to do an April Fool's video this year.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, I did one last year. It was all right.
Yeah.
But I have a video coming up of a game you've been dying to see on my channel.
Yes. We talked about it last time, right?
We did. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I've got some other Paw Patrol, Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Takes Manhattan. Okay. Yeah.
Got some other stuff too. I have Alien Isolation back now, finally. So I might start working on that again. And you can also see me out at Des Moines Con. I might even have a shirt
There you go.
this time around.
Yeah.
I'm not selling merch yet though, because I'm not that popular. Maybe something to cover up this.
Well, still got to work out the kinks, but I'm sure maybe some of our giveaways could have some shirts.
We've definitely been talking about that. Maybe doing some artwork.
Yes.
Some other things to give away.
Sure.
But yeah,
Lots of great things we got to think about.
Lots of great
year,
things.
especially our 10th year. Want to really get some other content out there for you guys versus us just talking about news, like some original stuff.
We'll be doing a reverse OnlyFans for Mitch, where you pay to put his clothes back on. No. It'll be Steve. I'm just kidding.
Steve would probably pay a lot to be able to shave Mitch's beard. So,
ooh,
yeah, I don't think Mitch will allow that to happen. So
there's a raffle idea.
That's Mitch's COVID beard too. So that's how old it is. But
that means it's time for him to get rid of it. Just kidding, Mitch. I love your glorious face full of
bushy beard, yes.
Ginger pubes. I make fun of his hair every time I'm on here. I'm sorry, Mitch. I got to stop doing that.
Of course, Field of Geeks. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts. We're on social media as well, YouTube, and of course our website, which hopefully we'll get that revamped very soon. I've talked to Dave. Need to get on it. I need to make some more artwork for you and Jonah. Still aren't on the artwork, so I need to get that done. So getting my butt in gear finally after all these years. So
yep,
I know it goes by quick, and 10th year coming up. So I'll start baking that cake, and maybe we'll have some surprises in it. I don't know. We'll see.
Ooh. Surprises.
But with that said, thanks for joining us, everyone. Take care. I'm Josh.
I'm Bill.
And I should have said take care after all this, but take care again. Have a good one.
Yes. You cannot take too much care of yourselves.
The more you know.